Thank you so much for staying tuned to this channel. If you just tuned in, this is TMI. You can call it This Morning on ITV. We're here to talk about two particular topics, like I said earlier on. Talking about the constitutional amendment and the impact in Buhari's government, because it's like, towards the end of the government, and 49 out of 68 constitution bills were passed into law. I mean, that is like the highest so far since the commencement of democracy. We'll take a look at that. So I'm saying it's a plus. Others are saying, what do you mean by plus for the administration? Some are saying, well, just one of those things, and what side of the divide really belong to. Don't forget also the aspect of land grabbing. I mean, you get to hear the report, you get to hear the cry, you get to hear the wailings of developers. Not like saying so many things are like off right now. What and what should we do? And talk about the impact on socio-economic development. That'll be on the later part of the show. But for now, it's all about constitution amendment, the impact in the remaining days of President Muhammadu Buhari administration. Will be here in the studio. I have a legal practitioner, a human rights activist, public affairs commentator. Join me to welcome Barrister Emmanuel Obakbolo. Barrister, welcome to TMI on this edition. I appreciate your coming.
Good morning, Wilson. Good morning, Nigerians.
All right. And of course, he was one time a vice chairman of Ego local government, one time acting chairman also of the same local government. He's a barrister, but I wonder why he's not practicing. Anyway, he's into agriculture, into politics, big time, an entrepreneur. Join me to welcome Honorable Desmond Ubo. Welcome to TMI on this edition.
Good morning, Wilson.
Appreciate you coming.
Good morning.
We're expecting the likes of a barrister Matthias Obayuwana. When it comes to the studio, he's going to join us and of course share his opinions and views on this particular topic we have to talk about this morning on ITV. Well, let me start off from you, Barrister Emmanuel Obakbolo. 49 out of 68 constitution bills passed. It's like a huge deal for the Senate. People like saying, wow, this is commendable. For the very first time in a long time, the bulk of the bills turned into law. It should be a huge plus for this administration. Take it up from there.
Wilson, I don't see anything commendable there, because the situation we have just now is like bringing a tattered clothes that is destroyed and you begin to mend it so that perhaps the owner can see something to put on and go for a wedding party. The question I ask when we hear politicians tell us government and governance is all about continuity, I begin to wonder whether that principle or doctrine, as the case may be, is applicable to Nigerian politics. The reason is because there is a document wherein the administration of former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, constituted some members, Nigerians, and they went to Abuja for a constitutional conference, and they came up with a beautiful document. The question now is, where is that document? 2, why was that document swept under the carpet? 3, why do we choose to have a beautiful document of such, instead go for the patching, what we call in the language of politics, amendment of the Constitution, wherein from the outset of it, where we know that the present Constitution we have, the extant law, is not the wish, desire of the people, of Nigerians. It was given to us by the military in 1999, 29th May 1999. And here we are, patching that same document, calling it amendment. The same document over the years, we've tried to amend, yet things are not working. And we are still towing the line of amending it. My question is, why not repeal this document and come up with the one those good Nigerians, vibrant Nigerians, intelligent Nigerians came up with, so that we will have a document that will regulate the lives of every Nigerian, whether mighty, whether low, whether high, whoever you are, your status.
All right.
Why do we choose to keep amending when since 2007, if I'm not mistaken, we've started this amendment, and yet the document is not working?
So you're not
Why
saying that...
continue?
Are you not saying that it's not a plus to this administration?
It is not a plus, because this is not the first administration that has amended the constitution.
I'll come back to you on that. 49 out of 68 passed into law. Some are saying this is what we've been looking for. Honorable Desmond will take it up from there. He said it's not a plus. It's not the first time we are making this amendment.
My brother, we see Barrister Bakpolo is entitled to his opinion. The way he submitted his take on it, it goes to show how he feels as a Nigerian. But here, I am not here to be very pessimistic. As a Nigerian who has also been there in the corridor of power, I can tell you, as you are saying, it is a plus, because yes, he made mention of Goodluck Jonathan assembling Nigerians to come out with a document that we will call our constitution. You and I know that there is no perfect constitution as far as any nation is concerned. Constitutions are subject to amendments due to times and exigencies. As country continue to evolve, democracy continue to mature, there will be need for the constitution to be amended. This is the 5th alteration since 1999 that constitution was bettered. And today, we are happy that even though there is still some bottlenecks, there is still some areas that we need the 36 houses of assembly from across the country, 2/3 of them to also pass, to make it a final law. Because when you are altering the constitution of this our country, Nigeria, there is a provision in the constitution that the law or the bill that has been so passed by the National Assembly will be subjected to the 2/3 ratification of the state houses of assembly. And that is what we are expecting in the next phase. For example, before now, the local government has been clamoring for financial and administrative autonomy. Perhaps you are aware before now that there is what they call the joint allocation account.
That's a JAC.
The JAC, where remuneration from the federal allocation will be lodged into an account meant for states and local government. At that end, whoever is the head of the state will now sit comfortably to begin to allocate what he feels is okay for the local government, thereby strangulating and making the local government a puppet in the hands of the chief puppeteer. Today, even before now, the president, Muhammadu Buhari, which today might not be perfect in all areas, but no sane Nigerian will give him 0 in all the sectors of the economy. He has made it clear that the local government needs to have financial and administrative autonomy, and that the National Assembly has done. Note also that it is the Senate and the Federal House of Representatives that passed this bill. and it was done independently. What the Senate did not agree on, if the House of Rep agreed on it, it will not be passed. They need to consolidate and do the same thing for such bill to be passed, and that is the law. So today we are talking about local government autonomy in all the 68 areas of amendment. It is that of the local government that made the headlines. That tells you how important it is. For something like that to be done, can't you give the government kudos on it, whether good or bad? So, in my own submission and in my own opinion, I feel this is a plus. And I pray that the state houses of assembly should, as a matter of compliance and urgency, give a note to it.
Right.
Because we've seen in this state where the state houses of assembly voted against, even to their own financial autonomy. They voted against themselves. They want to be subservient to the executive. And today, we are expecting with high hope that the state house of assembly should also give a nod to making local government independent financially and administratively.
Okay.
There are then the much needed democratic dividend will be bring to the doorstep of every Nigerian at the grassroots.
All right, Honorable. Well, you heard me say that is a plus. That's just one of the 49 that was, like, passed by the Senate. Don't forget also the Senate passed a bill to empower now state assemblies to summon president, governors over security concerns. Is that not the second plus, or even the first one that he alluded to? They are just like there, from your own opinion.
For the first question, does it not contradict the Constitution itself that gives immunity to the president? See, when people talk of documents, like the Honorable said, giving a plus to this administration, and he also affirmed to the fact that this is not the first time that the Constitution is being attempted to be amended, because the houses of assembly have not given their nod. We don't know the direction they may go. But I also want to tell you that the thing may not see the light of the day. That is very, very possible in Nigeria. A country where an elephant will fly, nobody will ask. Now, looking at the situation on ground, out of 49, we are not picking local government. You know, the Honorable has a vested interest. As a former member, as a former leader, somebody who has gotten to the apex position of the local government. I do not expect him to contradict that. I do not expect him not to give a plus to that. In fact, he has succeeded in affirming my thoughts. But what we are saying is this. Government after government keeps coming up with brilliant ideas in Nigeria. But to our amazement, those ideas don't see the light of the day. I am still asking the question, where is that perfect document? Where is it? Because if you now begin to patch, as we are patching, and this is the 5th time, the first one didn't work, the second one didn't work, the third didn't work, the fourth didn't work, and you think because local government autonomy is in the 5th one, then it will work. We see, I'm telling you that may not be correct. The truth be told, as it stands just now in Nigeria, we need a fresh document. The American Constitution is just 4 pages. I mean, how long? We told the line of the American style of democracy, presidential system. How many times have they amended their constitution? The way we are amending our own. Look, when we want to emulate or follow the step of the Western world, we only pick the side that favors the politicians. The side that will favor the people, nobody wants to talk about that. And that's why President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, former president, came up with that brilliant idea that there was need for constitutional amendment. And I still say, brilliant Nigerians, intelligent Nigerians, vibrant Nigerians sat in Abuja and came up with a wonderful document. All of these were captured in that document. What What this administration is doing is to choose and pick. That is what they are doing. They just look at the document, okay, pick this one. All of this practice now is towards 2023 election.
We'll come to that. You just sort of
they want to dribble Nigerians again. We refuse to be dribbled.
Hold on, Barrister Emmanuel Bakwalo, please. Watch your emotions. Calm down, all right? Well, viewers want to go on a break. When we return, we'll continue with this discussion. They brought out something talking about the bill that empowered the National the State Assemblies to summon president and governors for security concern. That is on one hand. On the other hand, the bill also granted them immunity. They want to extend it to the Senate President and, of course, the Speaker, House of Representatives. These bills are fighting against each other. We'll be right back. Don't go away. Well, as you can see, some of the constitutions, some of the bills being passed, others that were jettisoned, and that is what is forming the crux of our discussion. Today's edition of This Morning on ITV. Just joining us right now in the studio. He is a legal practitioner, a human rights activist, public affairs commentator. Join me to welcome Barrister Matthias Obayuwana. Barrister, welcome to TMI Sunday's edition. I appreciate your coming. It's been a while for Sunday. I don't know what really happened. What transpired? All right. It's okay. Now, before we come to you, I need you to react to what he said. He said because you are in that particular sector some years ago, that's the reason why you were saying yes, it's a plus because of the clamor for autonomy for local government. Talked about you giving them power on one hand to summon the president, the governors to come answer to the House of Assembly or the National Assembly. That is on one hand. On the other hand, you giving them immunity. Is that not fighting against each other, talking about the Constitution?
Well,
or being contradictory?
To some extent, he is right that I am supportive of the bill that give local government financial and administrative autonomy. The reason is not far-fetched. I have been there before. I know what we passed through. I know the areas where we became very, very handicapped when it comes to contracts and even your own administration. You need to get some approvals from certain quarters from the state before you can become free to do anything. I think to some extent we are happy that that autonomy has been given. But the bottleneck I'm envisaging now is whether the State House of Assembly will finally put a note to it. Like he said, the National Assembly, yes, by all standards, they have the right to invite the president or the State House of Assembly inviting the governor to come and clarify some areas if there is any issue. It's like the ongoing war between Ukraine and Russia, we are seeing world leaders, presidents of different countries are addressing the national assemblies of their respective countries to give clarification to the stand of the government over the issue over there. Today, our own country cannot be an exception. But look, the issue of granting immunity to presiding officers of the National Assembly, at least that one is aberration. Because you cannot be bigger than the system. A situation where the National Assembly officers, like the Senate President and the Speakers of Rep, are given immunity, I think they become overlord. And that will not tell well in a democracy such as in this climate, Nigeria. The best bet is to allow provisions to invite the president, as in the case of the federal government, the governor, as in the case of the state. And even now that we are talking about administrative autonomy for local government, there is no bad point asking the chairman to come and clarify some issue at the hallowed chambers of the councillors. So if these are done in line with our constitution, it will go a long way to also strengthen some areas that we feel is a defect in the national, in the constitution. There are a lot of lacunas, there are a lot of errors, let me put it that way, in our country constitution. But as we continue to journey along, there will be need for us to amend, repeal, if possible, some areas that we feel is no longer necessary, it's no longer falling in line with the current reality, so that we can move on as a country. He talked about the Goodluck Ebele Jonathan document. Today, we are in this country when Goodluck Jonathan campaigned with that document. And at the end of the day, majority of Nigerians says, no, we can't vote for you on the basis of that document. And that is what I'm sure, because it is a beautiful document, yes. But how many Nigerians were supportive of that document? Look at what culminated in the emergence of Buhari. Buhari were also saying they are going to look at it if it will be implementable. But today, I am sure by the time they sit down and look at it, they felt that granting enablement to that document will return Nigeria back to square one. The best bet, let us continue with what we have and make amends when necessary. All right. And that is what is giving birth to this series of constitutional amendments. This is the 51.
All right, Barrister Matthias, I believe that you've been following the discussion, and of course, you've had their views and opinion from what Barrister Emmanuel Overlord talked about. He said this is not a plus, and he said this may not see the light of the day because waiting for the State House of Assembly to either give a nod or to say no to it. On the other hand, Honorable Desmond said, yes, to some extent, it is a plus, citing his own constituency, so to speak, the local government autonomy thing. Well, all right, now, before he anchored, he said this is all about 2023. I don't know, what can you really make out of all this they've said?
Well, they have all spoken well. My take is that it is rather coming too late. I doubt if they were able to complete the process before the government will go down.
Too late?
Yes. Now, the government campaign mantra for change, also let Nigerians know that they will be given a nod for the structuring. Before the exit of President Jonathan, the confab was put together and there was a report which ought to have been implemented, which was geared towards restructuring and repositioning Nigeria. Nigeria, the way we are, we call ourselves a federal republic. It is only in theory. In practice, we are running a unitary system of government. We are in a country where the states are not allowed to take control of their resources. In America, that's a federation. the natural resources in the various states are under the control, direct control of the states. The state of Texas enjoy and have control over oil, whatever it is that they have natural resources in their state. State of California, other states in America, they have control. But here, if I have oil in Niger Delta, or the moment oil is discovered even in this ITV, they find that there's oil deposit here. It becomes property of the federal government. It doesn't matter whether ITV has a CFO over this premise. When they discover there's oil here, should that be the case? So why can't the state manage their resources? And we are a country that is so blessed with so much natural resources, in such a way that if you allow restructuring, if you allow resource control, if you allow the various states to have control over all that they have, every region and every state will develop at their own pace. They will not be having a reason where we will not be exporting, a product, abroad for foreign exchange, and again we have a balance of trade. We will no longer have a deficit. But as we speak now, we have a balance of trade deficit. Everything we rely on our importation. We don't manufacture anything. We don't export. Everything based on importation. Local industries have not been encouraged. Natural resources, gold, oil, coal, name it, timber, cocoa, that we have here in this country is taken abroad in raw materials. No one can be refined. Even the so-called oil, no one can be refined. You take it out there, you sell it back to us. And as all the oil is coming back, the oil is adulterated. I mean, the fuel that came back adulterated, it will spoil our cars. And then that has, for no reason, taken up the cost of buying petrol. All of those processes that was made, if that constitutional confab that was put up by President Jonathan, which we probably call the confab report, the very report, was issued on it and it was implemented to the latter from the very beginning of this government, I'm sure by now we'll be coasting to victory. Now you are asking for amendment at this hour, which is laudable. You can never really say it is really never too late. But again, if it is coming at this time, can they complete it? It does not. If it will just simply end at the table of the National Assembly, the two chambers of the National Assembly, when they have passed now, and then that should not bring an end to the constitutional amendment. No, it will trickle down to the state, and we must get to third majority vote of all the states of Nigeria put together. Right. Now we have gone through that course before, which failed. Talking about autonomy even for the state House of Assembly, autonomy for local government, autonomy for judiciary, and they are all proposing now. Even in the constitution as we speak, the financial autonomy for the judiciary is recognized in the constitution. But have they implemented it? They have gone to court, even as far as the Supreme Court, asking for interpretation of the provision of the constitution, which allows financial autonomy for the judiciary. The money will still come. You will not send it directly to the heads of court, to manage for the particular arm of government, and then everything still comes to the executive. So if it comes again now to the various state assembly, will they also vote a yes to it? Will they not be looking at the various executive governors who will tell them how to vote or how not to vote? Whereas they are supposed to be representatives of the people. If you go to the House of Assembly, you are there representing your constituents. We are the reason why you are there. You are not there for yourself. So if you must take a stand on how to vote, you should go back to your constituency and have a town hall meeting with your constituents. These are issues that we are looking at. We want to amend our constitution. For this constituency, how do we vote? What position do we take? That is how a true representative should behave. Because under the law, there is popular participation in governance. And the only way to participate in governance in the popular sense is for the person that have been voted in as a representative to go back to the constituent and discuss with them, take a position, and then you now go to the house and vote on that. Okay. But they go out there, they no longer do that. All they are engaging is lobbying. If the executive lobbies you in whatever manner that they are going to lobby you, and the lobbying is okay by you, you give either a yes or a no, without having recourse back to the people. So every Nigerian must be interested in this process. If that has been passed by the Chamber of National Assembly and it's going down to the State House of Assembly, we must hold our representatives accountable to ask them the way to vote. to let them know how we feel. This is how we want you to vote. If you go there and you vote contrary to this our position, they're going to be trouble.
All right. I'll come back to
not let them just have have a free ride, the way it used to be.
I'll come back to Barrister Martha. So Barrister Emmanuel Obakono is like it to a line or two from your own submission. You're talking about why you didn't see any applause for the administration. You talked about 2023. You also talked about it not in the light of the day. He talked about the duration for the process to trickle down, so to speak, to the national or to the state House of Assembly, that this may just take a lot of time that we do not have. Are you not saying that this is an exercise in futility? Yes,
that is the better way to describe it. For instance, Wilson, if that document comes to Edo State House of Assembly now, can we have two-thirds in Edo State House of Assembly? So, I don't know why we like pretending. Somebody will see something and will not...
point. Anyway, just continue.
Somebody will see something and will not call it the way it is. That is why we are not moving forward. That is why we are not making headway. For goodness sake, and for the sake of the people of Nigeria, this government is only embarking on an exercise of futility with this process. This process may not succeed. I am mindful to use the modern auxiliary verb may, but I don't want to say it shall not succeed, because he's a pessimistic fellow. He does not see anything good with the government. He does not see anything good with this administration. This administration told us so many things when they were coming, and we believed them. One of which is that there is going to be a change. Indeed, Nigeria has changed. But the question now is, what type of change? We'll see, you know better. They came again 2019 and told us...
I don't know about that, please.
Okay, the kind of change is negative change. Nigerians are crying. Nigerians are in pain. See fuel now. You cannot, yesterday I bought fuel, 229.9. Is that not 230? And yet NNPC keeps telling us different story. Oh, we have 1 billion liters. Where did they keep it? In their various houses? Somebody does not want to tell Nigerians. People use government offices to tell lies, and we cannot confront them. Instead, we will say, oh, just allow, pray for them. Well, those who are prayer warriors should keep praying. But I do know that God has given me brain to think, so that I will lessen my burden on him. So looking at the game, this game is just for 2023. Some time ago, the Senate president told us, he said, if you don't like our face, vote us out. That was what the man said. The man has come back to swallow his vomit. He's not telling Nigerians, we have done a lot for Nigerians. Nigerians should vote us in. I said, look at this man. Why are you approbating and reprobating at the same time? Why are you going front and back? Leave it for Nigerians to take their decision come 2023. Now, because they want to swindle Nigerians, they've now come up with this scheme of saying, oh, we want to amend the constitution. Like I started, I said, a cloth that is tattered, that can no longer be worn by a sane being, even the madman on the streets, and you begin to patch that cloth, and you give it to put it on somebody and say, go for a wedding party. How will he appear at the wedding party? That is what we are doing to the constitution just now. This constitution is not working, for goodness sake. That is the singular reason why I'm making reference to that document. Do you know the millions that was wasted in that exercise?
But they said that will take us to the beginning of
El Dorado. To El Dorado. Let it take us there. But I am telling you that this thing is not working. This document is not working. Even those who are pretending to amend it, they know that it's not working. Okay, let's leave it. Since they've amended what they want to amend. Now, coming back to the State House of Assembly. I know these governors will not allow the local government autonomy, because the governors are enjoying it, whether you believe it or not. Then two, I am making a classic example with Edo State. If perhaps this document comes to Edo State House of Assembly, can 2/3 members of Edo State House of Assembly be able to pass this document?
Well, 2/3 is 2/3. Without they're up to
2/3 of what?
2/3 is 2/3.
How many members are there?
Well, from mathematical
10 members are there out of 24.
2/3.
Can 10? I don't know this country. Every day we see political arithmetic, every day we see judicial arithmetic, every day we see different manner of arithmetics.
Right.
And people want us to take it hook, line, and sinker.
Okay.
Because we believe what they are telling us. Wilson, this administration told us change. I believed them, and I'm still believing them. And indeed, they are taking us on the boat of change for the negative. And now they have come up again with another state. The next level. Oh, so the next level is to amend the constitution for 2023 so that they cannot swindle Nigerians, so that Nigeria will vote in APC again. Nigerians should be wise this time around.
I'll come back to you. Please watch your emotions. It's like emotions are getting the best of you right now. Calm down, Barrister Emmanuel. Well, you heard him. Like what Barrister Mataya said, he said this is
let me join you to appeal to him to calm down. Because the situation we are in.
He's telling it the way it is.
Listen, my brother, you see, who is actually culpable in the implementation of that document? Recall that the first term of Buhari, it was PDP dominated in the National Assembly, as in the case of Senate. We had the likes of Saraki, who just came from PDP. We also have the deputy Senate President, Ike Ekweremadu. The first time in the history of this country where a PDP would be an assistant to the government in power. So they are the people to be blamed for any problem.
Hold on. Is it a blame game now right now?
That is what they have been doing.
Is it a blame game right now? Okay, hold on.
I have my reason.
Barrister Emmanuel, you're blaming it on the APC right now. He's blaming it on the PDP, so let him laugh.
But let me tell you.
APC keeps blaming everybody, including me and you.
This is
He
not
has
a
the floor.
game of bypassing.
Hold on. He has the floor.
This is not
He has the floor,
a game
please.
of bypassing blames.
Yes.
Did they not tell us they will look that document?
Barrister Emmanuel, please hold on, calm down. He has the floor, please.
APC told us.
Let me tell you.
Buhari told us, and I believe him.
Do Buhari have the power to look into that
Why
document?
did he not promise us that he will make sure that
looking-
Barrister
Listen,
Emmanuel,
I just
please.
told you.
He
Is it not
has
the
the
president
floor.
that okay, sir.
Calm down, he
Excuse
has
me.
the floor.
Is it the president that actually constitutes that house, that senate, as at that time? Were you not aware when the senators were asked to come to also to harmonize their position before they go for inauguration? Before they knew it, Saraki colluded with his gang of PDP and they inaugurated themselves. Just like what happened in Edo State.
Was Saraki an
the
APC
problem
member or a
is that
PDP member?
he was a polluted kind of member in the APC.
Gentlemen, we are not here to blame it on
History
characters
has
right now.
revealed
Persons. Let's
that
leave
they
these names out of
actually
it.
came to pollute the system.
Let's
But
leave
today,
this blame. Let's leave the names,
this
please.
is not a point of blaming somebody.
Yes.
We are looking at it that he was actually in that government when that document was put together. It would have been their lot if they so value or respected that document to put it into practice by making sure they look at the instrumentality of law, the legislative instrumentality, to look for a way to bring the document to bear. They would have even advised the president on the way he should go about it, taking it as a document for the country. But they didn't do that. Instead, they were just doing power play. They want to be in charge. And that made the government of President Muhammadu Buhari for 4 years a rhetorist. Let me tell you, as we are today, you are blaming somebody who cook pounded yam that is not smooth. What of the person who didn't cook at all? That one has come up with amendment. And instead of we Nigerians to be talking about how we this implementation, the amendment see the light of the day. He just made a case, a reference to Edo State House of Assembly, where we have 10 members sitting. How would that constitute the tutor required to ratify such a law? It will not come to the limelight. The reason is because there are a lot of vested interest on the part of the executive arm of government, teleguiding all our lawmakers. Until the lawmakers know their rights to make law and go back to the people, consult with them before they take a stand.
All right.
As it is today, they are a puppet in the hands of puppeteer, which is the governor, so to speak.
Okay, well, I will come back to you on that. Many will be like, tell you it isn't correct. It's an opinion. Even at that, they'll tell you they're not perpetual anyone. But mathematically speaking, whether they are 20 or 18 or 10, 2/3 is 2/3, right? Take it up from where it stopped. Passing the buck.
No, passing the buck will not help because, like I said, that even the submission, concluding part of it is contradictory. You agree that the executive has overbearing influence over the legislature. That is why things are not moving. You pass that buck to the state government, and you refuse to allow the same parameters for the federal government. Oh, the legislature did not allow executive to work. But as far as the state is concerned, the executive is not allowing the legislature to work. So,
but I ask the first question: who is to blame?
The man is the executive.
Hold on.
No, it is the legislature.
Honorable, he has the floor. He has the floor, please. He has the floor.
The executive is the one who, by their body language, because all they keep engaging themselves in is this lobbying power, and that's why it is always good to have a vibrant legislature. That even when you come around with your lobbying power, paraphernalia to lobby. The legislature, if they have the good interest of the people at heart, they only go back to their constituents to find out how things should be and what should be done. Doesn't matter whatever you bring to lobby, they will ensure that the right thing is done. That was the difficulty Mr. President was having with the legislature, because they were in the house and they were minded to actually give a proper check to the executive. Mr. President was not comfortable with that. You saw all the battles, you see how they wore those people who were there, were not in the same party with him, until that tenure phased out. And then a new tenure has come in. Then they were so sure that they have their people on ground. Now you have the people on ground now. This is the last quarter. First year, second year, third year running to the last. It is now you woke up from your slumber. Oh, let us come and carry out constitutional amendment. You said when you were campaigning that you allow restructuring. That same restructuring, we all believe that it will work for us. In the last tenure of President Jonathan, it keeps paining me. I don't know what is wrong with our leaders. Because even the last tenure of President Jonathan, they could actually implemented even the confirm report before you left. You have put money together, you have put intellectuals together to come and discuss that issue and how to move Nigeria forward, and they are giving you suggestions. It is just for you, left for you now to drive the process to implementing it. Before your election, you didn't do much, then it went down. The next government that came on board also campaigned, because they know that the way the Nigerian feels, they want restructuring. You say yes, you will allow that. You allow people to control their resources. You allow a full federal republic of Nigeria as ought to be. At the end of the day, you came on board, rather than do any much work, started blaming people. The president government the federal government have been blaming successive government. That's what you don't find with the government of Edo State. I will give him credit for that. He had never come about blaming Governor Shomoli. Oh, I cannot perform because he did this, because he did that, because he took so much loan, and because of the loan that he took now, I can no longer work. The man is still struggling to work, despite the loan that was the inheritance that we are in the state. He's still struggling to work. So they didn't ask you to come on board to come and look for blame. Otherwise, anybody can become president. If I will just come on board to blame and look at areas that you did not do well, and then from my first tenure to my last, I will come to blame you. If you ask me why did you not do well, I will say it is you that caused it. You did X, Y, Z before. Why did you not do well? You did the other one before. I came into, because I was actually seeing the lapses in your government. I came in to effect a change to correct it. I will not come blaming you for not being able to perform now. I should do the most I can do. That has not happened. So why would you now wait in the last quarter to bring out this amendment, which I say it is laudable, but I fear for time.
All right.
Between now and May, how much can you accomplish? So we should always have the interest of Nigerians at heart.
Okay.
Whatever it is that we are doing, do it timelessly. Don't play to the gallery. Don't play politics with the destiny of Nigerians. Because it stands now, they are not taking us serious at all. And I expect Nigerians to shine their eyes and be sure that this time around, whoever they are going to vote into power should not be those that will come and play politics with our destiny. They'll come and start blaming others for their failures. If you come on board, put on your thinking cap, get your gloves on, and get working.
I'll come back to you, Barrister Matthias Obayowana. I don't want this to be as if he's standing alone on this. So please, gentlemen, let's watch our emotions. All right. Now, you talked about 2023. How are all this related to 2023? Because after all, some of the bills are not even favorable to the party, according to people that really went through the bill. This bill is for Nigerians. Yes. You talk about the electoral reform, talk about independent candidacy. It passed. I say, go ahead. Is that not a plus, Barrister Mount Bakmalo?
It's still not a plus because this constitution is a grown-up. Every other law, the constitution gives birth to them. And I want to tell you, Wilson, and my co-panelist here, the amendment of this constitution, they don't have the time between now and May 29, 2023. They don't have that time. Elections.
This is March.
Yes.
We're talking about, you mean it's going to take more than a year? Is that what you're saying right now?
It's a cumbersome process.
Yeah, it has a time frame.
It's a cumbersome process. It's not something you just wake up in the morning and do. The lobbying will continue. And the time we have now is between now, by May 29, 2023, we will have another government in place. Is that not so? So, do we keep amending this constitution till that time? Then you are also saying that election will not hold. Simple arithmetics. So, they have the shortest time available for them now is between now and probably July this year. That's the shortest time available to them. And you think this will see the light of the day between now and then? The kind of country we are, where you will see a lot of oppositions and arguments and blames, and probably court matters you begin to see. People begin to go to court and say, no, this state of assembly does not have any power. They don't have the requisite provisions of the law to so do. Before you know that, we will now everything will now fade out again. Then some group of persons will now come and say, hello Nigerians, you see, we are going to change, we are going to bring restructuring, just like they told us in 2014. We are going to do this, we are going to do that. We are going to ensure that the confab, we are going to look at the document and see that the document comes to the light of the day. It is now they've woken up from their slumber because election is by the corner. So, all of this game you are seeing is towards 2023. That is the simple. And that is why many of them are afraid. Even the legislatures, many of them are afraid. The same Lawa, with all due respect to him, Senate President, that told us, vote us out if you don't like our face. As if Nigerians are interested in his face. What is there in his face that we are interested in? We sent him there to go and do the job for us, and not for us to be looking at his face. We don't have any interest with his face. But that was what the man told us. Now, he has seen that reality will catch up with him. You know, this government...
Anyway, I wouldn't want us to go individual places.
No, it's not.
It's not personal because he's there doing his job.
Yeah, no, he spoke.
So please, let's not go personal.
Hello, sir. He's representing the National Assembly, the Senate. He's representing them. It's not particular to him.
Yeah, but still,
I use the word
it's like you're going to personal.
Okay, no.
Type it down.
No, all the legislators, all of them, both those representing me and you and every one of us, all of them. It's not particular to him. No. How many of them are doing the right job? We are looking at them.
All right.
The much problem we have today in Nigeria is because the National Assembly is not doing their job.
Well,
now,
you cannot say they're not doing their job.
Now, President...
Hold on. If they're not doing their job, how come you're saying that amendment of the bill?
Amendment of
That's
which
part
bill?
Of their job.
That is why I'm telling you that they've calculated that, look, we need to do something to confuse or convince Nigerians to accept us by 2023.
The job they're doing. Can we also say that Goodluck Jonathan was also looking at the
legislation? The job is not poorly.
He convoked that confab. Right. Can we also say that Goodluck Jonathan was also looking at 2015 when he convoked that confab? Now, Barrister, you have alluded to the fact that the amendment is laudable.
Yeah, it is.
And at the timing is what is your fear?
That is him.
Fine.
But me, I'm not alluding to that.
You are standing alone. That's what saying.
Yes.
You are standing alone. But let me say this. Let me say this. That you see, the lawmakers, like I said, will keep blaming them. Most of them don't know the rudiments of lawmaking.
Beautiful.
That the constituents own the power. that even before they speak in the hallowed chamber, they're supposed to consult their constituents. That is the reason why those who we have seen before in the houses of assembly who have not demonstrated that trust of representing the people rather than representing themselves and one interest outside there should not be voted in, should not be elected. And that the era where somebody will come and say, vote for me, when he cannot even represent his house, he wants to represent the general people, and he doesn't have the pedigree to represent the people, should be told right in his face that you are not worthy of representing the people. I think the problem now is that as we are getting towards the election, I know that most of these houses of assembly legislators will be preoccupied with their re-election bid. Because the idea of having occupy yourself with legislative business, which is not too keen to, they are not too keen to that business, but the money that accrues from it. And they depend largely on allowing the executive to lobby them than working for the people as it ought to be.
But you're not there. How do you know all this?
Are you not a Nigerian?
Of course I'm a Nigerian, but you
don't
are not
have
there.
A friend as lawmaker?
You are not there.
Have you not seen some? Let us not go there.
Sleeping
I
senators.
think the truth is this, that until we tell the government that, look, always do things and allow time so that we will look at it properly and allow it to slide. If not, we will continue to have it wrong. Because look at the timing. Yes, let me join Barrister Bayiwana to be apprehensive about the timing. We know how our Nigerian legislators are, how they keep setting beautiful bill with time. You know the time this PIB took before he saw the light of day.
Before.
And there are so many beautiful bills.
Has he succeeded in?
That they have KIV.
They're still amending
it. They just let it to remain there because the needed lobby has not come to their table. Until we continue to challenge our lawmakers. If you go to the United States of America or even in UK, you see the crop of people that are lawmakers. It's very sound. And they will tell you, look, the reason why we are not supporting. And they don't depend. I'm not sure most of them even know the resident of the president. They do their work diligently and expect the public to say thank you. Not those people that are in the executive arm.
Okay.
Now, in this country, I think we must appeal to the state houses of assembly, undermining the fact that from what we are seeing, Edo State will not be part of it, looking at the constitutionality and the legality of 10
Many may
out of
have
24.
divergent views from your view.
I am just submitting
They may
my
have
opinion.
divergent views. That's your opinion.
Two-thirds of the members sitting.
Yeah,
I
because
don't know
two-thirds is two-thirds.
the
Whether they are
application
9 or 10 or
of
12,
it.
They will see
two-thirds of
court
that
cases.
number.
Because that, if at all, they allow whatever two-thirds you apply to that thing to have their way, tomorrow, some houses of assembly or an individual from another state will take Edo State House of Assembly up legally for interpretation. And that will further impede the process that we are here talking about. Because until the right thing is done, and they should have also go into the constitution, though they passed the bill creating the expediency of the inauguration of State House of Assembly and the National Assembly. They also talked about the time it required for the president to inaugurate his cabinet and nomination of his minister. The same applicable to the state. A situation where you, in the first term, the president waited for 6 months. And even in Edo State, for example, you saw how many months the state government
But this
waited
was
for.
captured in the bill.
Captured in the bill.
It was captured.
Yes, now.
Yes, now. Yes,
Now.
captured that.
So, and that is the good side. That is the good side, and the reason why I am supporting this amendment, that we have moved a step further from where we are before to a place where we continue to see things being done rightly.
But you said it's mischievous. How?
No, the mischief.
Yeah.
The mischief is the
Has been
reason.
cured.
What do you, why are
Purportedly.
you bringing this bill? What do you want to do? Because Mr. President came on board, he did not appoint ministers. It took so long before he did.
That was the first step.
Happened to
In
the
Edo
governor of Edo State.
it did.
So why will you come to power and the constitution allows you to appoint your commissioner and your ministers, and you are lagging, and you are taking time, in doing so. So there should be a time frame. So
let me
now
tell
they're
you.
able to latch onto that because there was no provision of the law
Yes.
that limited the time to do that.
Yes, to do
now
that.
the mischief is that this that is going on, we want to curb it, we want to stop it. That's the reason why the legislation are now bringing that law in.
Yes, to cure that area.
Yeah, but still it's a
Cure that
plus.
area. But let me tell you, the reason
It's a plus.
I just the word mischief, the reason,
Well,
the thinking behind that
you see,
legislation enactment.
I'm sure it's because of the crisis rocking the National Assembly as at that time that gave Buhari the 6 months before he inaugurated his tenure. His cabinet. The same way in Edo State, for example, listen. The same way in Edo State,
Both of them have no
the
reason to
failure of the State House of Assembly to inaugurate the other members that could be responsible, I don't know. But now that the area in the constitution has been remedied, going forward,
Still the work.
going forward. No, the time frame within which to inaugurate.
hello, sir.
I said going forward.
Hello, sir.
We have also alluded to the
Hello,
fact
sir.
that there are lots of hurdles. There are a lot of hurdles to pass.
It is not yet a law.
Exactly. It's just
They are only in the process. It's a proposal.
But we pray it skate through.
again.
That
What
should be
will
our
skate through?
prayer. You should be optimistic.
I
my brother.
don't want to be optimistic about this. I don't want to be optimistic at all. My position remains. Are you getting me? If you look at all this, see, somebody keeps blaming another. When you were coming in, you didn't tell us you were coming to blame the past government. You didn't tell us that. You told us that you were going to do your own. See, for goodness sake, Nigerians are people who don't need much from their leaders. If you do one thing for Nigerians are okay by that or with that. Because Nigerians are hardworking people. For instance, like in Edo State, what Nigerians need now in Edo State is good roads. With this government, what we need for them with this government is restructuring. That is just what Nigerians need. We don't need any other story they are talking about.
All right.
Amendment this, amendment that. That is not the issue just now.
Thank you.
Wilson, I am telling you that this process will not succeed.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Our time is up for this
succeed in
discussion.
Jesus'
You said to not succeed. He said he will
Honorable is
succeed.
pray.
Jesus'
It will succeed
Yes,
in Jesus' name.
Well, he said he will not succeed, but Samantha said there's a time frame. Let's see how all this will go. Because right now it's been passed already in the House. Talk about the Senate. The onions are lying, the bulk, so to speak, now lies on the shoulders of the state houses of assembly. Can they do the needful within this stipulated time? Don't forget the election is around the corner. With adjustment to the timetable, you can now start campaigning for 150 days and all that. Will that distract them? What about houses with situation vis-a-vis Edo State? I mean, to thought is it going to be with a number in the house or be like you have to have a full house? Well, to them the house is full. Someone say the house is not complete. I don't know about that. Let's leave it at that. Gentlemen, thank you so much. You've heard them. Let's see.
We see the house is not complete.
That'll be a talk for another day. It'll be a talk for another day. When we return after this break, it is going to be all about land grabbing. Is it happening in your community? Has it happened to you? You're hearing it for the first time. My analysts are still here on the ground to share their opinions and thoughts about this aspect of land grabbing. Don't forget the opinions. Actually, theirs, it has nothing to do with ITV, but they did their best possible to follow the regulations governing the airwaves. Don't go away, we'll be right back.